Alright folks, so it has been a day since patch 1.18.1 came out with the free 6th sense perk for all the commanders, and with that change, after playing a few battles, I can tell ya, it feels pretty good. I mean, it feels great when you can actually jump back to vehicles you collected but graduated the crew from, such as the Crusader when I moved the original crew to the Cromwell, or the Centurions later on. I can actually jump back to lower tiers and not having to experience a potato commander and trying to guess if I'm being spotted or not. So it's actually pretty good. But this is a big buff, a very big buff to starting out light tank players. So when you start out, you don't have a 100% crew, you don't have the maximum view range available to you, so you need every bit of help you can get. And with this perk, it's pretty important to passive spot. So it is a big buff to light tank players, especially low tier light tank players. It's not that big of a buff to something like artillery though. You don't need free 6th sense on artillery. So when you're being spotted in artillery, you're probably already dead. So kind of a whatever buff to artillery. And it's still a decent buff to all the other tanks, but yeah, it's a big buff to light tanks. Now, there is an implicit buff or passive buff I noticed while trying to change all my commanders. And that is, if you already trained the 6th sense perk, you're basically getting a free skill. So it's becoming of a female crew with a 0 skill perk in a sense. And that is crazy. So what I mean is, for example, if we jump to the Matilda I have right here. So originally I have 2 skills. One is the 6th sense, one is repairs. Now with the free perk, you can actually get one more skill. So that means you can actually get more XP out of this by having something else like recon. And with that, boom, my view range jump up by almost 10 meters. That is pretty good. That is only a 2nd skill of a commander crew. What if it's like 3 skill or 4 skill? It gets even crazier later on. So for example, if we jump to my Centurions, so for example I already have 2 skills, and with that I can actually train something else like repairs, which is somewhat important on combat medium tanks, right? So I can train something more important than having to train recon, which is the next important thing, but it goes all the way down the list. So any commander with a free 6th sense already trained with the original 6th sense, then he gets one more skill for free. And it gets onto the curve a lot simpler. And what I mean by the curve is this thing. So if you go to the World of Tanks wiki page, you can see that with each and every skill after the first one, it gets exponentially harder to train. So here's the list. Major qualification, that's the 100% training. So it's simpler to train to 100% than getting the first skill, than getting the 2nd skill, or the 3rd skill, right? But with this change of 6th sense to becoming a 0 skill perk, practically, it drops all the XP requirement. So therefore you get more XP out of this, therefore it's a passive buff if you think about it. I never did this on the test server, I never thought about it that way, but when you think about it that way, every vehicle you have a highly trained crew member in, it becomes pretty good. So for example, if we go to the survivability, repair track time with repairs now, shaves down 1.5 seconds ish. That's kind of important, right? So all the commanders gets a buff implicitly or passively from this change, which is a pretty big deal. So for example, heavy tanks could get recon now. So here's my Carnarvon, originally only 2 skills. Now I can actually get recon and increase maximum view range. Almost 10 meters, 7 meters. That's kind of important. So it's not fully trained, but still, that's better than having 2 skills only. So it's a big buff. And after training all this time, you'll get to something like this. So for example, light tanks with the free 6th sense, my Arnold can now get something else like firefighting. Oh, That is kind of garbage. So I can actually get camo now, whereas originally it was training situational awareness, which is pretty big deal. But yeah, some of the skills, some of the perks are kind of crap. So for the rest of this video, we'll do the rating of all the skills and perks, and then we'll take a look back at Crew 2.0. So stick around, but let's start off with the commander. So obviously, yeah, recon is more important for commander. If your commander is also radio operator, I would recommend you getting situational awareness first. It's 3% for situational awareness and 2% for recon. Total of 5, I think. So it's better to have situational awareness first. It's 3%. Yeah, right here. And then you get recon. 2%. Yeah. So it's better to have situational awareness first, then recon, obviously. But having both is still pretty good. 5% increase to your commander's view range. Light tanks usually want camo, obviously. I don't know why I give Eagle Eye to Arnold, but hey, it's Arnold. And then repairs. The rest of these skills are kind of garbage. For radio operator position, Call for Vengeance, 0 out of 10. It's a piece of junk, it doesn't matter. Signal boosting, like 1 out of 10. It's good for low tiers, but no. I mean, low tier radio range is like what, 400, 300? It's good for low tiers, but it's crap. Relaying is good for artilleries, mostly, because artilleries have good radio range to cover everybody, but it's still kind of like a 1 out of 10. Jack of all trades. That is more useful for low crew member vehicles, like the S tank with only 3 crew. Sometimes all the crew have to do multiple positions, like commander have to be the gunner or the driver as well. So this is good for low crew members, like the Manticore as well, or the ELC AMX. But then again, there's only 2 crew member in the ELC AMX. Okay. This one is a gimmick, indicate if artillery shot at you, so it's like a 2 out of 10. So even if you know it's coming, you won't stop it. It's like a delay too. Is it delayed? Active for a moment. At the moment of the shot, oh, it's actually not delayed like the original Sixth Sense, so it's instant. Well, still, I mean, it's only good for only one class of vehicle, and that is artillery. Mentor is a gimmick. It's good to have it early on, but you're wasting a big potential like recon for this slot. It's good for later on, like when you already have most of the important skills, so have it later. And firefighting is like a 0 out of 10. You get a reusable fire extinguisher, so you don't need this. Blah. All right, moving on to the gunner. This one, Deadeye, is kind of fun for tank destroyers to have better module damage. Otherwise, you wouldn't really want this one. You want to have snapshot for your tank destroyers, especially with turrets, as the original first skill. But if you have a good high skill member, then Deadeye is pretty good. The one with designated target gives you 2 extra seconds, right, of being or on enemy spotting, I guess. So it's still good for a sniper, but you have to rely on your light tanks to spot for you. Obviously, camo is good for snipers, but you probably will want repairs first, then camo if you're playing something like the Elephant or the Ferdinand or assault tank destroyers like the Yak Tigers. You want to have repairs first. Armor is like 2 out of 10. It's kind of crap, and firefighting is obviously garbage. So drivers are simple. Off-road driving prevents you from being bogged down, always a plus. Clutch braking is good for heavy tanks or heavy assault guns like tank destroyers. Off-road, smooth ride, shooting, yeah, still good for medium tanks, but helps out with dispersion. Camo for light tanks, or repairs for assault guns or medium tanks, yada yada. Control impact is a meme, so it's good for like E50s, but it's very, very situational. It's like a 3 out of 10. Very situational. Preventative maintenance, 0. Engine fire. if you bound the keys right, it's the same as firefighting. So this is like 1 or 0 out of 10. So obviously go with repairs and then camo and then these crap, which is not important. Loader. Safe stowage. Still the best. Prevents you from being ammo racked. One-shotted. Next one is probably intuition. If you have a large DPM-ish of a gun, if you want to switch between the good high explosive shells, intuition is good. Adrenaline rush is a meme. It's a gimmick. If you're already at low health, it's only good for something like a heavy tank with a lot of armor. So you can actually go low health without, worry about it most of the time. But it's a meme. Camo, repairs, firefighting. Firefighting's garbage. So that is for light tanks. We'll go through all the classes since I already put it up. But cars are a little bit different. Not really. Commander usually is also the loader as well. So yeah, for the EBR, you probably want intuition to switch between the shells a little bit, but yeah, it's about the same. Yeah, it's about the same. Oh, radio operator. That's a new position we haven't covered. Situational awareness, the best skill for a radio operator. Then camo if you're a sniper, or repairs if you're a Ferdinand radio operator. Call for vengeance, garbage. We already mentioned this with the commander. Never mind. Yeah, the skill is kind of crap. I think we already covered all the skills. Alright, let's cover all the 10 classes. So you can take a quick preview of my assortment, I guess, of all the skills. But once you reach a high cap, you don't really need anything else. Like, really. Some of the commander skills are not really that much important. So, yeah. Firefighting. Oh, no. Oh, I don't want these garbage skill. Might as well have firefighting. No. Oh, okay. Well, that's practically for medium tanks. Practically. I have put all of my high skilled or high perk commanders here with a lot of training. So obviously you don't want to have a non-active perk right off the bat when you're training for the first skill. So you don't want to have Deadeye, mostly because it doesn't come into active after you start training it. It only becomes active when you reach 100%. So you want to have something like a snapshot and then retrain it to Deadeye later on. But armor, what a garbage that thing is. So notice the sequence of the skills I have. Just take a note, I guess. Like a guide or recommendation, if you will, but you do whatever you feel like it's good. Camo last for heavy tanks, obviously. Camo always last. But here is the thing I want to cover, and that is the artillery. Artillery is a different beast. If you're playing artillery, there's no sense of putting something like recon. Even though recon is a very good skill. It's like a 9 out of 10 skill. It's kind of a heavy requirement for the first set. So you don't need it. For artillery, you don't have view range. Might as well get something stupid like telling if you're being counter batteried. Yeah, that is a lot more important than, spotting for your team. You're not going to spot for your team. You're not repairing, right? If you're being spotted or if you're being shot at, you're probably already dead. So repairs, not useful. Recon, not useful. Eagle Eye is also terrible for artillery because it has to be within the view range of your vehicle. This thing doesn't have that much view range. It only goes off by radio announcement from your teammates spotting for you. This doesn't come into effect. Eagle Eye does not activate for artillery, so be wary of that. Don't use this. It's crap. Also, jack of all trades for a bunch of crew members. You're not supposed to be being shot at, so you don't have usually knocked out crew unless you're being counter battery. Whereas having this perk is a lot better for counter battery. So artillery is such a weird class. It's such a weird gimmick. Why the hell did I have situational awareness on the radio operator? That doesn't do much. Well, there's no other better skill, I guess. And for snipers, yeah, pretty much the same. I focus on Deadeye to deal more module damage, as well as camo. You want to have more camo than repairs, so shift the order around later on, obviously. And we'll finish off with a smaller crew member size. So with a smaller size, you definitely want to have the jack of all trades. For something like the S-Tank, the commander will fill in for the driver and the radio operator, because all of them have 2 different roles, and that is kind of important. So if your driver gets knocked out, you're pretty slow. And you have a garbage gun too. If your radio operator gets knocked out, you have a lower DPM because she's also the loader as well. So kind of important to have this thing for a low crew member tank, like the Manticore ELC AMX, ELC EVEN, even though that has like 3 crew member, I think, or the AMX 13s practically. But yeah, sound detection is gimmick. It's not useful. Rest of these skills are not useful. God, she has so many roles to do. She has to do gunner stuff and commander stuff. Jeez, that's a lot. All right, let's finish up the video by talking about this thing. So on the article right here, Crew 2.0 Sandbox Test, a look back. In summary, it was obvious that 2.0 required further improvements. It was kinda controversial, to say the least, and the main changes could not be released in this form because it will piss off a lot of players, blah blah blah. However, we decided to give you the best thing out of it, which is the free 6th Sense perk, so that's nice, but this is the line we want to look at. Since then, we have been gradually moving forward, refining and improving some of the ideas shown on the Sandbox server. The 6th Sense perk will be the first improvements added from the Crew 2.0, but in the future, other changes of the crew concept will follow. Huh? So 2.0 will still be added, but in random forms, like being chop-shopped and given out to better parts, or giving the better parts instead of the garbage parts. But more details at a later date. So, I mean, let's revisit the sandbox for Crew 2.0. So there were 2 versions. One released February and the end of February, and the first version was not as good as the second version, released 6 months later, practically. But I totally forget. That was last year? It feels like 2 years ago. That was last year. But I totally forgot all the conversion stuff. So let's do a refresher. During the test, nobody cares. Converting the crew, invest the points automatically into training plan. What the hell is that? Don't care. Previous test, blah blah blah. 0 perks will be taken into account, so that's important. Number maximum skill points. I feel like the original thing with the what the hell is the bar thing? I feel like the original 80 total maximum skill point, like a RPG, is kind of capping you on what you could do. So you cannot get all the skills you want. You cannot have everything. You can only have 80 total, which means you have to do this like an RPG. And some vehicles are spec'd out to becoming a wizard. Some vehicles are spec'd out to becoming a thief or warrior, whatever. So like any RPGs or Dungeons and Dragons, it's like that, right? So kind of a limitation, 80 points total. But what other stuff could we see from the change? Give me a split sec. I don't want to read through a wall of text. Elite progression has been changed, reduced from 21% to 15%. Wasn't it like maximum bonus? Elite progression. What the? Is that for... I have no idea. Instructor concept improved upon. So basically, special crew members like female crew becomes instructors, giving you a bonus. And sometimes one type of instructor is a lot better than the other type, obviously. So kind of feels Armor Warfare-y a little bit with their change, like what, 5 years ago? Unique instructor, which basically means pay to win. So pay to get super crews. And you get super crew members with super instructor skills, practically, or bonuses. Kind of a pay to win when you think about it. Yeah, pay to win. You increase your XP too, so basically promoting you to get special instructors. We don't want that. That's pay to win. No. Blah, 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 blah. Retraining a crew costs a lot more credits. We don't want that too. Get that out of the way. Retraining a crew for 750 gold. I think it's how much is retraining a crew nowadays? Let's see. Personal profile. Skills training. Only 200. Oh, that's for still, it's still 200 if I want to retrain to any other tank. What about heavy tank? Still 200. 750? No. That's money grabbing. No thanks. Anything else that's interesting that I totally forgot? 0% perks. Oh. All crew members in the barracks who experience not enough to train at least one skill will be automatically converted into crew books of the corresponding nations. So you're turning people into books and absorbing them. That is kind of morbid. That is real Lovecraftian. Turning people into books and sucking them up. Okay. Yeah, there's nothing really that stands out from 2.0 that I really like other than Sixth Sense, I guess. Or maybe like you can choose your instructors, but the perks are not defined. You can choose whatever perk you want. So instructors will give a bonus, but it's not set and kind of pay to win-ish, I guess. I don't know. I mean, you do get a badge and a name tag, I guess. Blah. Original skills, I see. One ally vehicle are located within 75 meters of you. Vehicle handling is increased. Oh, this is like wolf packing. Situational awareness is always good. Bursting arms is always good. Stunned or injured. Fire adjustment. Costing with your view range. Remains spotted. It's just additional spotting. It's just not. No, it's just like the thing with the gunner skill. It's not that good. It's a different version of this, of designated target, practically. Fire adjustment. Blah. Surveillance. Upon your first or repeated spotting, the concealment vehicle increase. This is good for light tanks, I guess. Well, passive spotting light tanks. Vulnerability, that's Deadeye. Decreased by 5%. Oh, precipitation rapidity. 3 seconds after the vehicle stops. Oh, this is for snipers. This is for heavy tank, but 50 meters is very close. I would prefer like 150 to 100, but 50 is pretty much proxy spotting. Concentration, damage. Oh, RNG factor. No. Adrenaline rush is adrenaline rush loader skill. Blah. Oh, I forgot about the special combo. You get to choose one special combo if you spend 30 points in the training. Fighting spirit. If you do more damage than your vehicle's health, your vehicle handling is increased, which is not half bad. Or assistance, your vehicle handling is also increased. So mostly tactical training. You get to when you cause damage to enemy vehicle by shooting, aim time dispersion. This is for rapid firing. Clean shot, or this is for large caliber gun. So repairs, speed, blah, concealment, same. Intuition, yeah, you rather have the actual consumable cooldown time decreased by like 20% total at maximum. Just constantly. I mean, it's not like you can replenish your health with a consumable. That will be pretty broken. Nah, that's it. There's nothing else really interesting out of all of these. I mean, it's just different perks. The thing I would like to see is just better perk. Like some of the radio operator perks are just garbage. Need for speed. But you're moving at 40 kilometers per hour top speed. This is insane for EBRs. Like really insane for light tanks or EBRs. Mostly EBRs. Yeah, okay. None of the stuff are that interesting other than instructors, but instructors are like kind of pay to win when you think about it. When you're selling special crew members from the premium shop, like the Sabaton or the Amazon, the boys, right? You get a special crew. therefore promoting pay to win. So kind of unfair. I would rather see you choose which perks you get. You can also convert your own crew into instructors. That would be nice, but kind of pay to win-ish. The thing I like to see is, can I sell my freaking barrack slots for money? Because I have a lot of barrack slots and I don't need that many crew. Also, can I turn my crew members morbidly into crew books? That'll also be nice. A rental tank will give you a 100% crew for that rental. So rent a frontline tank like the Chrysler K for rent. Yeah, you get a free crew. Turn that into crew books. That would be nice. So let us sell our unwanted barrack slots as well as garage slots that I have a lot of. So let me sell the garage slot for like gold. Also let me sell the freaking emblems and camo that I don't want. Like these camo I don't want, or these emblems decals that I have a bunch of that I don't want. Let us sell all of these. That's the only thing I want. Well, there we go, folks. Some rambling about crew skills, crew 2.0, and the change of 6 cents. So hopefully I don't bore you, but it is an implicit hidden buff when you think about it. Very big deal. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this patch. I enjoy playing lower tiers again. I enjoy playing garbage vehicles that I don't really play anymore, like the toaster or the special bread van of a thing like this thing, IKV 65 number 2. I don't have a good commander, but I can at least enjoy it without being guessing when I'm being spotted, I guess. That's a lot of words. Thank you guys for watching this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this patch. Go back to lower tiers. And since it's a new patch, or just the recent release of the patch, there are a lot more potatoes. Like a lot more potatoes and tomatoes at lower tiers. So tomato stomping is relatively fun now, especially with free 6th sense perk. Very free. You also get a bonus if you already have a good crew. So something like this guy gets additional view range. Holy crap, that's insane. So yeah, or what a nice patch just for the one simple concept. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.